Bringing back the wow factor for 2025, this is the Wilson Clash 100 Pro V3. With an updated spec for its third iteration, the Clash 100 Pro combines plush comfort with easy access to power and spin. Hit stabilizer technology improves off-center stability as the heaviest racket in the family remains maneuverable for experienced players. At 11.4 ounces strung, the 16 by 20 string pattern helps with control and targeting, while this racket continues to offer a unique experience of vertical bending and torsional stability. Don't pass up your chance to demo this racket. Going into this play test, I wasn't sure what to expect as I do have that longer lateral stroke. However, from the very first hit, I absolutely fell in love with this updated version of the Clash. It reminded me of the very first time I ever hit a Clash racket, and it instantly brought lots of smiles and laughter to the court. I felt very unlimited with the shots I could hit, specifically when it comes to angles and plowing shots through the baseline. I love that it's a 16 by 20, so just a tiny bit more control in the string bed. But then that swing weight, it's not too low, but it's not too high, that I still could access tons of angles, but again, still had plow through behind my shots. On serves, it was really fun to hit big shots with as well. And I think if you have a more lateral swing, this is gonna be a good fit for you. However, if you do swing very fast up vertically, this probably isn't gonna be your racket. Is it gonna be as stable as the RF97? Definitely not, but I was shocked with how stable it did play. It's not gonna be a replacement for the RF97, but for right now, I'm not going into any tournaments. This is a really fun racket that I can use with whoever I'm hitting against. It's super versatile and one that I'm gonna keep in my bag. If you told me it was gonna be one of my favorite rackets of 2025 before I hit it, I would probably not believe you, but it definitely hits top 3 favorite rackets going into the new year.
As with previous versions of the Clash, I found this 100 Pro a really easy racket to use. Came around the body nice and easy, good blend, I think, of stability and maneuverability. I could snap it through contact well. It's got that typical Clash plush feel to it. You feel like the ball sits on the string bed a long time. And I like the fact that this racket really had tapped into that feel of the first gen, but it keeps that controlled string pattern of the second gen Clash Pro. So I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds in this version 3. Up at net, I volleyed pretty well with it. I played a lot of doubles with this racket. I felt like my volleys were finding their targets, good access to spin when I wanted to cut the angled volley, give it a little bit more junk on it just to get it away from my opponents. And then on serve as well, decent pace, good spin. Wouldn't say I'm hitting my biggest serves with this racket. I prefer something with a bit more mass, but could easily fix that with a little bit of tungsten tape. But in stock form, shaping the ball nicely, getting it to drop inside the box and do its thing. So yeah, fun play test for me.
The Clash is built with a lot of power. I realized that as soon as I hit my first ball. So throughout the play test, I had to remind myself to slow down my ground strokes to keep the ball in play. But the good thing was that it has a lot of spin, so I could still get the ball to dip in at the very last second, which a lot of my opponents did not like. But otherwise, the ground strokes, I was able to open up the court, still hit a lot of winners off of it. But again, I had to be very careful not to overhit because that's very easy to do with this Clash. At the net, I found myself punching a lot of the balls really deep through the court. Lots of stability on this racket, but then again, the power comes into play again at the net. So I was able to hit a lot of touch volleys, a lot of droppers, but you have to be very careful because I found myself messing up that shot a few times, and then my opponent just had a sitter ready for the winner down the line. Serves, I was able to hit all of my serves with this frame. My favorite was the kick serve because it has the power for it, so all you have to do is just add the racket head speed and it was just going through the court. So I was able to open up the court again. The kick serve, I even got a few aces off of, which is not very common. So I really liked hitting a lot of kick serves with this. Definitely will be recommending this frame for a play test with all of my 4 tennis friends.
The first time I hit with this Clash 100 Pro V3, I knew I was hitting the Clash, just that really kind of signature soft feel that it has. Really nice pocketing, really plush, which is, for me, kind of unique with a racket like this that has a fairly thick beam. So one thing I really loved about this racket was no matter where I was at on the court or how long of a rally I was in, the racket just gave me really good comfort, really good plushness. I felt like I could take the ball early and on the rise and everything just felt nice and smooth. I actually found pretty good control for this racket being 100 square inches. That 16-20 pattern kept me feeling like I could swing freely, and I found pretty good control. Definitely not as much power as I would say like a pure drive, but gives you like easy easier depth on the ball than say like a Speed Pro or something like that. So kind of in that range as far as the power level goes. And I felt like on serves I was getting good placement, wasn't getting a ton of free power on my serve, and that's where maybe I would customize, add a little bit of weight like Chris mentioned. But on the slice I liked it up at net just because it was pretty soft, good pocketing. And overall I just found like this is a great racket for me to rally with, really good practice racket if I was like a hitting partner. But in match play I just maybe didn't feel quite as precise as I do with something like a Wilson Blade Pro or an Ultra Pro. For this review, we had the racket strung with a couple different poly strings. This one here, we have the Wilson Revolve, and we also have another one with Luxilon Eco Spin at 52 pounds. For more information on this racket or anything else tennis related, be sure to head to Tennis Warehouse, Tennis Warehouse Europe, or Tennis Only.